Hi, I'm doing a reading over again because this is a new camera that I'm using and I forgot to turn on the microphone. Yeah. Anyway, this is on Jimi Hendrix. There's always been some concern over his death that he may not have just accidentally overdosed. Because there was a lot of wine in his system that hadn't, I think, been fully digested, that he had aspirated. And also there was a lot of alcohol, wine in his hair, and that he was saturated with it. Now this was according to the coroner that handled his case. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of shady people that were involved. This coroner had some doubts cast upon his credibility. Keep that with a grain of salt. And the manager that was managing Jimmy was also sketchy as hell, as was the man who later wrote a book and made the claims that the manager had Jimmy killed because he wanted to cash him in case Jimmy was deciding to get any funny ideas like doing his own thing. And I believe from the reading earlier that I did not capture the sound on, that could well be the case. So I'm going to do another reading on top of that. Let's see if we get any correlation at all, that one way or the other. Okay, I've shuffled. I'm filming with one hand, so new camera. All right, so what we have covering Jimmy and this situation is the Four of Cups. Okay, there's a sense of, with this card, a sense of waiting, and it can be connected because it's a cup. It can be where there is a lot, someone is consuming a lot of alcohol. They're kind of numb. This is a card of being numb. And that numbness can be induced by chemical imbalance in the brain or intoxicants and things like that. So that's what we're looking at. That's what covers him. Kind of a numbness. Okay, all right, I'm getting more now. You know how I said earlier that I saw some issues that he was having, where he was wanting to go his own way, do his own thing, and not use this, I think, manager anymore. Well, I believe he wasn't content. And actually, this is showing me that he, again, that creative desire that he felt wasn't happening in his current situation. He felt a bit bored with it. And I think he wanted to change who was handling his business. I do. Okay, that kind of confirms it again for me. Now the card crossing him, oh my gosh, is the Ten of Pentacles. And that's money, money, money. That is money, 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 money. Okay. I think somebody was concerned that if he made any changes or did something different, either they get cut out of the loop financially because he hires someone else, or they fear that somehow maybe he won't be as successful anymore the way he had been. Maybe he was wanting to explore other things, other ways, creatively with his music, and maybe somebody didn't want him to deviate from what they'd assigned to him. Yeah, this isn't looking good. The basis of the reading is the 7 of swords, and that's theft. It's a card to do with things that are low-handed. They're under the radar, you know. In a more positive aspect, you could say it's somebody that's being private, very kind of secretive about what they're doing, but not in this case. This is theft. I believe, and I did get this earlier in, unfortunately, the reading that I first did, that he was being stolen from. He was being actually, I think his manager was embezzling or skimming or doing something, helping himself to a lot of extras. Let me get that lens cap. There. Okay. So I'm already it's echoing similar storyline, very much the same that I got before. It is not looking to me like an accidental overdose. I have done readings where I do get overdoses, and I do see how people's state of mind gets, and there's a certain number of cards that you will get. And other readers will, if you don't read, other readers watching this may understand more, is that you get cards that deal with substance and all of that, and the person being a bit, you know, out of it. And I'm just not getting that. I'm getting the story that somebody's wanting to spread their wings and go their own way, do their own thing independently of someone else. And this other person doesn't want them to change the way things are because they have been making hand over fist money on them. And they feel like they could make more. But I feel like this is Jimmy wanting to expand his horizons and, as an artist, explore different things in life that give him the creative drive to create, you know? I really feel like this is a case where he okay, isn't that? Recent past, we have the 3 of Swords. There's a lot of, there's sorrow, there's heartbreak, there's suffering. And in connection to money. It could be that there were 3 people involved, or 2 others involved, that may have facilitated his overdose. I do feel like that. I am not one to jump on board immediately with conspiracy. However, I'm not naive either. I have discernment, and this does not look good for Jimmy. You know, someone definitely was wanting to take care of their own interests rather than his. They were afraid that he was going to cut them out. So we get the Knight of Swords coming in to him. I feel like it is a sudden, aggressive energy that's, I feel like this person these people just came into the room that he was in. There was no small talk, I just feel like this is a force that just is like an arrow. It's going for its target. There's like I said, there's no small talk. It's just they come straight in and they go to work on this guy. Because I believe he wanted to go his own way separate from perhaps two other individuals that were handling his business. Okay. Now this is known as the wish card, and we have the Nine of Cups. Now the Nine of Cups, because it's a cup card, can talk about substance, can talk about drugs, can talk about intoxicating substances, as well as being a satiation of a wish come true. In the placement of someone, and I'm going to say it's Jimmy's wish was not to, of course, pass away. I feel like his wish was this: to expand his horizons as an artist and explore, and he wasn't satisfied with where he was at. He needed more inspiration than the environment he was in and the company with which he was surrounded by. I definitely get that. He wanted a real change, and this upset the money machine, you know? This upset the people making bank on him, people that were stealing from him. They didn't want him to pursue his wishes, his dreams. And the environment is the Two of Cups, make love, not war. And the environment is, I think, he was wanting a more harmonious environment, to be around people that cared about him. There's also, this deals with trust. It was also certainly the sentiment of the time. Maybe there was something more political that he was wanting to participate in, that the manager or somebody else didn't want him to get involved in. Certainly our government wasn't thrilled with him. But I believe this is somebody who has a financial interest, so I believe you're looking more at management and things like that. This was somebody with whom he had, not always necessarily that it would be a love interest, but this can be someone that you work with very closely in business as well. It's a partnership, it's a bond. So if it isn't about working for better people, then it's looking at, I think, you know what, no, I'm going to say I think Jimmy had someone in mind that he wanted to work with. Someone else. I wonder if he hadn't talked to someone else that said, yeah, I could help manage you, or, you know, whatever. I would be very keen to know that. I'll track that down if I can. Because I just don't wonder here if there wasn't maybe something he had in mind, someone he had in mind that he wanted to contact. I think I was shown in the other reading that he had been arguing with somebody that was like management. And that could also be this. Hurt feelings and the splintering, kind of the divorce, if you will, of that a business agreement bond. Yeah, in his hopes and fears, he had this star card. He was inspired, and there was just something new he wanted to share, creatively explore, wanted to, had some really inspired ideas. But I don't think for some reason that the current management he was with was going to be the people he could do that, have that vision with. He could pursue that. He really brought also a spiritual realm into his music. And he was wanting, I believe, to kind of explore that route with his music. And I don't think management thought that maybe that would sell. And I don't think they were going to be part of that journey. So I don't think that he did this. I don't think that Jimmy did this by accident. This looks very much to me like somebody was taking money from him. He felt betrayed. It was a lot of money. Maybe he had just realized that his manager was stealing. Maybe he confronted him about it. Angry. Wanting to go and do his own thing, expand his work as an artist, and grow. And the final end result is the King of Cups. Well, this is talking about an individual who was a visionary, a creative visionary artist. And I think someone just decided that that's what he was going to be known as because he wouldn't be alive anymore. To cash him in. Yeah, okay. There is... To me, this deck is perfect for reading on him. I feel like he is at peace now, but I don't feel like he was the one that ended his life by accident that night. I think someone didn't want him to leave their side. I think they wanted him financially to remain with them. And I feel like Eight of Wands coming in. Two of Swords. He's trying to block off. He was trying to I think, keep to himself. This is withdrawing. I believe because of whatever upset he was having with management and who was handling his career, I believe he was withdrawing and he was wanting to recharge and get his head together and move forward. But first he needed to recharge. And I think he withdrew from these people that he had the argument with. He didn't want to be in contact with them, may not have been taking their calls, this sort of thing. Blocking their attempt to contact him. I think he was ignoring phone calls. He just wanted to be left alone. And Justice and the Sun. Well, I think that there is some light that maybe needed to be looked at about legal records. I think there is something with his records, his documentation, paperwork, will. What was in? There's something, and I'm feeling like it's a will, there's something clear. I feel like it's a clue that there is something that kind of clarifies the whole thing. But also that he was trying to block this person out of his life because he wanted peace. He needed peace of mind. It was making him tired. And again, needing to recharge, needing balance. I'm also going to see it as that. And needing to recharge. This person, I think, was really unpleasant for him to deal with. They drained him. They drained him to the point that he felt like his creative flow was tapped, and that he just simply had to physically also distance himself and not be in contact with this individual because he was upset. He had argument with this individual. I know that. So I will end this by saying he wanted to go his own way and do his own thing. And I don't believe that the person, likely two people that were dealing and controlling his career, his money, managing him, agents, this sort of thing, I don't think that they wanted him to make that change. They wanted to cash him in before he left them. That is what I feel. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this video, any of the videos that I provided, please. And you can comment if you like, as long as it's not rude, because I'll take that right down. And I would appreciate it. So please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. More content coming your way. I will look at other cases. And if you have something that you want to suggest, please feel free to leave that in the comment area as well. Thank you, and have a good day.